Well, hi everyone. It's so good to see so many of you join us today. We're really excited about the program that we have put together for you. And what we're going to be doing today is we will be talking about the France-based tours. And Dylan will take you through first and talk to you about all the backroads side of things. And then I'll come on a little bit later and we'll start talking about the luxury hotel barges that we can connect up with. Very excited about this program, the synergy between backroads touring and the luxury hotel barges that we have at Unique Cruises just fits together so well. So what I'll do now is I'll hand it over to Dylan. Thanks, Dylan, and I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you very much, Walter. And again, thank you for everyone who is joining us here today. We really appreciate you taking all of your personal time to tune in and to listen to what, as Walter mentioned before, what we think is something truly special and quite unique for you. So what I'll do, I'll take you through the backroads side of the piece. We have two tours featured as part of this Unique Cruises France experience. And then Walter will jump back on at the end to take you through the Unique Cruises portion. So sit down, relax, hopefully got a cup of coffee or tea, and let's get right into this presentation now. Bonjour à tous, comment allez-vous? Bonjour, je m'appelle Dylan, and merci, Walter, for all the work you've put into this collaboration. This has been something I've been looking for and wondering if this could ever be a thing. And then all of a sudden, I watched a travel webinar where you showed off your barges and what they offered. Conversations were started, and I am blown away with what you have created for our trade partners. Today, I'll talk you through, as I mentioned, our two tours to give you an insight to the backroads experience on our maximum 18-seat vehicle, combining with a vessel that only holds 12, meaning collectively you have such a comfortable and unique experience. So how does this experience start for your guests? Bit of drama for everyone in the morning. Our vehicle is what makes your experience unique. The ability to traverse cities and towns in the same fashion as a car has its advantages. It gives us the ability to show you the heart of a region without spending hours and hours on Highway 1. Now, I'm sure there are a few of you thinking, I surely couldn't do hours and hours of driving in that type of vehicle. Well, to help anyone else blessed with height, we are only traveling at a maximum of an hour and a half at a time. And our coach configuration is a 2 one-seat configuration, meaning if you need to have your legs out fully, you can. And to introduce our vessel as well, the L'Impressionniste, the host vessel for Rick Stein's French Odyssey, where he traversed the region doing what he does best. And for anyone who's a backroads fan, knowing Rick Stein has a big place in our heart, especially with our Cornwall tour. And there she is. What a wonderful vessel. And I look forward to hearing Walter speak more about her later in the presentation. And secondly, our amazing local tour leaders. These knowledgeable people are all unique with a plethora of knowledge and stories to share. Some of the best stories I hear are when your clients share personal details with our leaders and somehow they incorporate it into what was already perceived as an ideal manifest. With an abundance of free time, these are your links to maximizing your adventure, whether you are a walker, photographer, or like me, a gastro tourist. Our tour leaders are there ready to make your days even better. Now, welcome to London to Burgundy via the Channel Islands, an immersive way to explore the route to Paris in a far more interesting way, and I'm sure you'll agree. Day one for us now is a welcome evening in London. Arrive by 5 p.m, your amazing tour leader who will be your guide to insights, tips and tricks, and so much history for you to absorb. The Wellington Hotel is in a prime location in London, a short stroll from Victoria Station, Buckingham Palace, and Westminster Abbey. Enjoy a welcome dinner together and rest up. We'll be kicking off around 8:30 a.m. tomorrow to get you on your journey to Paris by the most unique way I can think of. This will be a trip to remember. Well, it's day two. We have rested and are all excited for our journey ahead. We pop out onto our trusty Mercedes Sprinter, take our seat, and we head out Dorset Way. En route, we'll take some time out at Winchester Cathedral to see its grandeur and Gothic design and learn some history from the get-go. Back on board to make our day leisurely, we'll make one more stop before we get to Dorset at Corfe Castle, a site with over 1,000 years of history. Wow. Onwards to our first night's rest in Dorset before we head out onto the ferries across the Channel Islands. All right, jackets on as we board our first ferry across to Guernsey, an island steeped in much war history for you to learn about. You will have ample time upon arrival to go out and explore. Make sure, as always, to ask your tour leader for tips and tricks to make best use of this time. Or, hey, simply relax. We do have 3 nights here in Guernsey, so soak it all up. On our day 2 in Guernsey, we actually hop on another ferry to take you across to Sark Island, or as it's famously known as, the Dark Island. Sark has no vehicles on it, so the day is up to you exploring some of the many vantage points and getting the step count up, as we have a delicious group dinner tonight. Balance always. Maybe the Lighthouse and Pilcher Monument, or one of the many walks. It's up to you. Maybe for the romantic, there's a horse-drawn carriage ride you could take part of. After an abundant day, we head back by the ferry to Guernsey for dinner and a good old rest. Don't forget, you do have another full day in Guernsey to see the sights, even learn all about the German occupation, and visit a little chapel, which is an art piece created out of, well, you'll see when you get there. You finally had to repack your bags, and after a relaxing morning, we head back onto the ferries to Jersey. Today is extremely relaxed as we get familiar with the village of St. Alban. Tonight, we again reconvene for a group dinner to take stock of our day and our journey thus far. Our next morning is truly something special as we take you through to the Neolithic site of Le Hugby, a passage grave created and preserved so very well. We'll take you deep into the history of the Channel Islands. Learn what happens on the day of the winter solstice whilst on trip. It is truly amazing. We even packed more amazing sights in today before giving you the afternoon to relax, reflect, and savour some of the memories thus far. And I just thought I'd throw you a quick image of the hotel we stayed in Jersey, just to give you context on our hand-picked accommodation as we go through these presentations. Again, we pack our bags after 2 nights and get ready to head off to the mainland of France. Before we leave, we get the chance to see Elizabeth Castle. You'll have ample time to explore the grounds, and if you're there at low tide, you can even walk along the causeway. Later today, we hop on our last ferry to the port town of Saint-Malo to start our French traverse to Paris. 3 nights here again, so a lovely stay again to explore, and also a well-deserved free evening tonight to get yourselves acquainted. Now, an orientation tour will start your day in St. Malo, or your first day after sleep, with our tour leader taking you through the streets, revealing its history and stories. Later, we'll be taken away to an impressive Chateau de Saint-Malo. For any photographers or wannabe photographers like myself, a great opportunity to get some shots from the coastline from its watchtowers. St. Malo has so much more, and we again will allow you the time to explore and immerse yourself, or again, maybe sleep. But get ready for probably one of the biggest highlights of the journey tomorrow. Now, a short drive from St. Malo, we are taken across to the island of Mont Saint-Michel, a Benedictine abbey with cobblestone walkways and an abundance of history. You will have the time here to explore the abbey and the Luggage to Fame Museum. Lunch is at leisure with an abundance of choice. There's actually quite a few places you can stop in for a bite here. Although my people tell me there is a popular restaurant that even Marilyn Monroe has eaten in. So we'll see how you guys go finding that one. Back to St. Malo we go. What a day we have all had. After 2 nights of coastal wonder, we head south and traverse some wonderful countryside. Our first stop isn't too far away in the town of Dinan, where we have an opportunity to get lost. Not really, but along the cobblestone streets and seeing some of the beautiful houses and buildings. Back on board, we'll have you in the town of Fougères, where you'll have a chance for some lunch. Prior to leaving, we'll pay a visit to the Chateau de Fougères, where you'll be immersed in much history of ownership changes, and perhaps see a local donkey. These donkeys have ancestry reaching back to 1170 AD. I'm sure they're all relatives now. Onwards to Laval for our last touring night, before we head into Paris to meet the unique piece of your journey next. A farewell dinner tonight with your wonderful tour leader who has opened your eyes up to this wonderful region of the world. Bags are packed and we head out for our last drive to Paris. En route, making a stop at Chartres Cathedral, which is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Onwards to Paris to get yourself all set for your next exciting 7 days aboard Les Impressionistes. So that was the introduction to our first tour there, a really unique option for backroads. No other tour company actually traverses the London to Paris route in this way. So I think from an immersive point of view, a great combination to partner up with a barge cruising to finish. But just to move on and keep you guys going, we'll move on to our second tour, which is our beaches and battlefields and Burgundy. What a wonderful combination Walter has created here for all of you. And I'll take you through now the backroads experience. This tour will attract a mix of customer with its blending of experience. But for us, it's still year on year one of our top sold tours. And for this reason alone, I think a perfect accoutrement to the barge experience for your customers and ours. Day one, we are back at the Hotel Roncesvalles Opera, where we left you on the last tour. Don't forget that backroads touring experience can be quite modular. Perhaps you could extend with our last tour as well and connect them both up. Well, today again, we meet your tour leader that will inspire you through all that Northern France can deliver for you. Whether it be wine or war, you'll come back with some fond memories. Time to get ready. Dinner awaits. We will start off your morning at a leisurely time around about 8 to 8:30, after a wonderful Parisian breakfast, of course, and make our way to Givony, the home of one of the world's most acclaimed artists, Claude Monet. Whilst we could talk about this region for some time, let's say that for your guests and make our way onwards through to Honfleur for our 2 nights in this coastal town. Tonight is yours to enjoy and savor. Rest up, as the next 2 days are simply amazing. The bustling markets of Honfleur will start your next day. Your tour leader will take you on an orientation tour of this town, walking through its history and how it has been an inspiration for many Impressionist paintings. Now, being a gastro tourist, now I am excited as we follow the next day onto the route du Cidres in Normandy, possibly stopping at a local Calvados producer to sample possibly a drop of juice, or if the day is right, maybe a cider, or more aptly, an amber-hued Calvados drink or apple-styled brandy. Back to Honfleur to rest up, plenty of free time for those who want to see more, but tomorrow is a big day for anyone with war history in the family. A visit to this region would not be complete without a visit to the Normandy beaches, where today you will visit the site of the 1944 D-Day landings. You'll get to learn and understand what this region went through during this historical period for many countries. If you have any history to share with our tour leaders, please share, just to see what they can locate and so you can understand more about this region if it does have a family legacy and history. Onwards, we leave the beaches and we head to Bayeux to see an awe-inspiring tapestry before moving off to our next resting point for the night at Manches-les-Bains. Just for the night though, what a nice rest before as we, we head out. And as you are aware, now one of my favorite locations in this region. This is such a cute little place to stay. I think it's very, very cute. Waking up keen to kick off this day as we make our way southwest to Dinan. The highlight stop today is Mont Saint-Michel, where we will get some time to explore the fantastic piece of French history. After soaking up as much as we can, we aboard our sprinter to go and see Menhir des Champs-Dolents, a 9-metre high standing stone, the largest of its type in Brittany. Some interesting stories surround this stone and I guess where it came from. Be definitely worth asking the tour leader this question whilst you're out there. After quite a big day in Dinan, we rest up for 2 nights. Such a cute and unique cobblestone nook. Day 2 here is a rest day. Do as much or as little as you want. There has been a lot to absorb, and sometimes a solid sleeping is actually required. Make sure you are asking our tour leaders for any secrets or must-see and do's whilst here, and enjoy it all at your own pace today. On our last night here, enjoy a delicious dinner and compare some of the stories from your day. Our next stop is Chinon, and now we are definitely in the Loire Valley. Whilst here, we'll get the opportunity to visit such towns as Angers, a town steeped in history for being the stronghold of the Plantagenet kings. Your hotel may have a name resembling this too. On your second day, after a yummy breakfast, we take off to see the gardens of Château de Valangerie. Some great photo opportunities here indeed. But all of this is very, very, very thirsty work. Perhaps a detour as we make our way back to Chinon via our local winery for a taste or two. I'm sure there's many on this call that would be obliging. Was anyone keen for another chateau? Agreed. There are some classics, and today could be simply one of the finest. At Chateau Le Chenonceau, we'll have ample time to explore the grounds as well as its museum. Leaving here, we head to Amboise, the town where Leonardo da Vinci lived out his final years, before we make our way to Chartres. Tonight, we'll get together for our final dinner for the tour. Paris is next, and your barge is getting ready for your arrival. And we are back. We have seen art, cobblestones, war history, and villas, tasted some cider, calvados, and wine, and now we await the next adventure with unique cruisers who will pick you up in the morning in Paris to escort you to a champagne welcome upon the L'Impressionist. So from here, I will pass on my screen to Walter to take you on the unique cruiser's journey.
Fabulous. Thanks, Dylan. I will just share my screen. There we go. I did see in some of the comments there that everyone's getting a little bit jealous and getting a little bit depressed almost about looking at these pictures of these 2 amazing tours and just wishing we could all be there. Look, we'll get there soon enough. The way things are going at the moment with vaccination rates, at least, that's what I heard yesterday. So exciting time to start looking and planning and looking for what your clients can do midway through 2022 and 23. So with the 2 tours that Dylan has just gone through, they back up onto, we partnered with L'Impressionist, but really it can be attached to pretty much any of our luxury barges in France. The reason that I picked L'Impressionist specifically is because it's one of our bigger barges in France and in the beautiful Burgundy region. So there's 6 rooms, as I'll take you through, and 12 passengers. And of course, with back roads, you can have up to 18 on the tour, or you can charter the back roads. Well, basically have a charter tour on back roads with only 12 passengers, and then come straight onto the L'Impressionist. So it just works out for really good value. So let's have a look before I take you into L'Impressionist itself. Oops, just need to put somebody on mute. Let me just try that. Sorry, guys. All right. We'll hop onto L'Impressionist in just a moment. But first, I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of Unique Cruises and who we are. For those of you that know me, know that I've been involved in the river cruise space for quite a number of years with different companies. And it was a few years ago that I was up in France. I've seen the barges over the years. I didn't really think too much of them, to be honest, because they all look a bit old and a bit small. And then a few years ago when I was up in Paris, I happened upon one of the barges. I was able to go on board and have a look at, and I was absolutely blown away. And when I came home back to Australia, even though I was in a job I really loved, I thought, gosh, I think this will be the next evolution of river cruising as we go through, because they're smaller, everything you want in a luxury river cruise, but just with a few friends or family. So I started up Unique Cruises. We now have the barges in the 5 different countries, as you can see there, 15 regions. We have 27 barges currently, and the main regions that we cruise in really through France is the Burgundy region, Canal du Midi, and the Champagne region as well. We also have a barge in Italy, 1 in England, 2 in Scotland, and 1 in Ireland, which we'll take you through over the next few weeks. So the biggest difference between river ships and the luxury hotel barges is that, as most of you will know, the well-known river ships operate on the big rivers of the Seine, the Rhine, the Danube, the Seine and Rhone, and the Moselle rivers. And pretty much they're between 110 meters to 135 meters long, with anywhere between 120 to 160 passengers. When we start having a look at the luxury hotel barges, the smallest barge I have in the fleet has only got 2 rooms, maximum of 4 people. The largest, which is the one that we have in Italy, only has 10 rooms and a maximum of 20 people. So you can see we are scaling it right down. On average, though, we are looking at 8 passengers. We do have 6, 8, 10, 12, and up to 20, as I said. But on average, we're looking at 8. Now, one of the misnomers, I guess, were questions I get asked a lot, because many of you will know about the smaller barge options where they're self-skippered. The ones we offer at Unique Cruises are definitely not self-skippered. They are fully inclusive, so all your meals are included, all your excursions, transfers, beverages are all included, and these are good quality beverages. And the bicycles and hot tubs are available on most of the barges, and certainly on the Impressionist. We do offer 4 levels of luxury with these hotel barges. So we've got our first class, deluxe, ultra deluxe, and our grandiose. The difference really between any of these, it comes down to predominantly room size, because they all have a qualified captain, all have crew, and all have a dedicated vehicle attached to the barge. So I can speak with you individually if you'd like to know more about the different levels in particular. One of the phrases that I coined over the last year or so is the luxury barge bubble, because as we know, people are very concerned about keeping safe, and as they should be. So I'll just run through a couple of key points here about the luxury barge bubble and why it's a really great option for your clients. Number 1, as we said, there's small passenger numbers, so you can be limited to just family and friends. They have the option of chartering the whole vehicle, the whole barge, and this is really what I'm promoting the most. We do have options for just booking 1 cabin, if that's what your clients would like. But if they can get another 3 or 4 couples together, then they can have their own very, very unique experience going through the different regions of France and the other countries. We do cruise through the rural and less popular places, so not coming into contact in the major cities, except for maybe at the start and the end. And we do have a dedicated vehicle for excursions. So you're not hopping onto a big coach. It is just the passengers on the barge in that vehicle. Excursions are mostly outdoors to outdoor locations or to private chateaus and so on. So again, in very small groups. This one I really want to point out because it's a full ship deep clean between cruises. You may or may not know that every single barge that we operate with Unique Cruises, they will start on a Sunday afternoon and they will finish the following Saturday morning. So it doesn't matter which barge we're on, which country, which region, they will all start on a Sunday afternoon and all finish the following Saturday morning. What this does is it allows the staff to go through and do a big deep clean in between cruises. So when your clients come on board, they're not having to cross paths with other passengers, hopping on, hopping off. They can be rest assured that the whole ship has had a deep clean, And of course, as you would expect, it's continually being cleaned throughout the cruise. The cabins themselves on every single barge have individual air cons with HEPA filters, and all the food is served. So there are no buffets on board as well. So again, just mitigating as many risk factors as we can. As you would expect, there is sanitizer stations around the barge, and certainly when you're hopping on and hopping off. The crew across the entire fleet have all gone through enhanced COVID-safe training, again, just to understand the protocols and to make sure that everyone is kept safe. And it is all English-speaking crew across every single barge. And another question I get asked a lot is about medical backup. Always have an English-speaking doctor on call. And of course, you know, although we're traveling down some of the canals, we are never too far away from a major city and a major backup. So that gives us our little luxury barge bubble. And as I said, when we're combining this with backroads, if your clients have decided to take the backroads tour as an exclusive option and then connecting it to this is just a fantastic way as we move out of COVID. So let's have a look at the La Impressionist itself. Now, I love this shot here because it just reminds me again of when I was working for the luxury river cruise company, seeing these barges coming past and didn't think a whole lot of them. And then when I actually got on board, I was just absolutely amazed as what we saw. So the La Impressionist, as you can see on the diagram there, is one of our deluxe ships carrying 12 passengers maximum with 6 crew. The Impressionist is basically being modelled after the Impressionist artists, and so the room names that you can see there reflect that as well, and the styling throughout the ship does. There are 2 junior suites, so the Monet and the Renoir, and they're just slightly bigger than the other rooms. Now, what we do at Unique Cruises is that we give you, if you're taking the full charter, we just give you a net price for the charter, and it's up to you how you would like to work that with those suites, whether you put a premium price on those, or just first and best dress, or maybe it's, I don't know, the clients that you like the best gets the best rooms. It's up to you. We'll leave that up to you to decide. And then the itinerary that we run through is through southern Burgundy. The barges themselves go really quite slow, as you can imagine, and typically we can cycle faster than the barge moves. One of the things that I will point out here, though, is that unlike river ship cruising, which cruises overnight every night, with the luxury hotel barges, we never cruise overnight. We are always docked, which means that your clients can hop off the barge and just wander into a local town, little village, just go for a walk, and they don't have any curfew that they have to be back by. It just opens up a lot more freedom. So let's have a little look around the barge, starting with the upper deck here. So obviously nice place to sit around and relax. You can see the bicycles there, of course included, free of charge. Clients can take those bikes and go for a ride pretty much any time. We're always beside the towpath, so it's flat, smooth, it's fantastic. Get a lot of questions about e-bikes. E-bikes are an option at an extra cost, and we can arrange those if we know about it ahead of time. But for the most part, they're not really needed. Even for me, who was exercise adverse, should we say, you can take one of these bikes and cycle for miles without even really batting an eyelid, and then being able to go to those towns and villages and just have a look around at your own pace. My favourite spot on any barge, of course, in the hot tub. Just imagine yourself there with a cocktail or two and just being able to soak up that French atmosphere. Coming indoors, this is the main lounge area of the Impressionist, and you can see there's plenty of room. You're not all squashed in, and having a look at the dining area as well. You can see it's well appointed. Just a couple of quick looks into the room. So you can see they're not really small rooms. This is the thing that really took my breath away in a great sense, was that I actually felt much more sense of space than I expected in a small barge. And having a look at the bathrooms, again, not really, they're not grand suites, but they certainly have enough space for us to take care of the amenities. And again, back outside and just having a look at being able to sit down, relax, have a champagne. Now, of course, part of the experience is being on the barge, and the rest of it is all being out and exploring the French countryside. So I just want to take you through just a couple of photos here on what your clients can expect. Now, remember, we're going through all of these by private vehicle. There's only 12 of us on the tour on the L'Impressionist. On some of the other barges, there'll only be 8 of us. So very small group numbers, being able to go and explore these regions, including the ancient wine presses of Costa Void, just soaking in that history. And again, if you just think of the experiences that you may have had, your clients may have had on a luxury river cruise, and how many groups there are and 100 or so people, compared to coming in and viewing this, and there's only 12 of you. Completely different experience. One of my favorite places in Burgundy is in Dijon, and although we all know it for its mustards, and we certainly go and have a look at those, the town itself is actually just beautiful to be able to go and walk around and explore. Another one of the places that we will visit on this particular itinerary with L'Impressionist is in Hearne, which of course, as it's got written there, is the capital of the wine country, and we do have our own private tour and tasting. Now, this one here actually made me a bit country sick when I was putting the presentation together the other day, because it just reminds me of how much I want to be in France and really get to some of these places again. Chateau du Comarin, when we go here, hopefully we'll be able to get a spot of falconry, because I do that quite often for our guests. So again, just an added bonus of being in that small group. But this next shot here is really the one that I love, quintessential French countryside that we can go up and explore. Now, one of the things that I do love about river cruising in general and the luxury barge cruising is that there are some, excuse me, sorry, I don't know what that. There are some options that we don't get as we are cruising along, which you get from big ocean cruises and stuff. So on this one here, this is one of the tunnels that we go through on this particular itinerary, the Burgundy Canal. And if I just, there we go, how's that? If you're claustrophobic, you may want to go up and walk across the tunnel and come join the barge down on the other side. But even for somebody who is super claustrophobic like me, being able to stay on board and go through this is such a unique experience. And contrary to what we hear all the time, in this case, I would definitely head towards the light. Just a couple of reminders about what is included. So, as I said, we do have a qualified skipper for every single barge. We also have crew on board, and they take care of us in a first-rate standard. The crew can also double as our local tour guide, depending on which cruise we're on, which barge we're on. And again, I just wanted to point out the dedicated vehicles for each barge. So that vehicle, not only does it give us the comfort of having our own guests on board and traveling to these different places, but it also gives us freedom and flexibility. So if your clients are chartering the full barge, we can open up a whole bunch of other options. So for example, if they would like to do a couple of rounds of golf during their week cruise, well, we can arrange that for them so long as we know that all up front. If they have it booked as a family charter and they would like to go and visit a zoo, then we can arrange that as well. So everything is possible. It's just a matter of being able to ask your clients what they would like, and we can work with them from there. Food, glorious food. I'm always amazed at how chefs can work in such tight conditions, and on the barge it's even smaller. It's just amazing what they can produce. We do have options, again, depending on the chef and the captain, but typically guests, if they would like to accompany the chef into the local markets, can join the chef and actually help purchase the food, the veggies, for the evening meals. We also do have entertainment on board, again, depending on which barge we're on. But if you can imagine the entertainment that we get on some of these luxury ships, except there's only 12 of us, or 8 in some cases, and it's just sitting out on the sun deck and having this private concert or wine tasting, again, brings it to a whole different level. And when we're talking about wine tasting, just a matter of being able to grab your favorite beverage and soak it up in the hot tub. Can you tell this is my favorite place on the ship? Because you can just sit there and relax. Or if you're feeling a bit more energetic after dinner or after lunch, you can just take one of the bicycles and go along that bike path that you can see there and explore at your leisure. Just tying that back in with Backroads, these are the two itineraries that Dylan went through. So the first one here from London through to Paris, and then the second one from Paris around through regional France back to Paris, and then both of these will connect to our luxury barge itineraries. As I said before, we focused on the L'Impressioniste today. However, it could be any of our barges that we connect with. All I need to do is just have a chat with you about what your clients would like, work out the best solutions. Sometimes it may be an extra couple of days in Paris before we do the transfer through to the luxury barge, but we take care of all of that, so you don't have to worry. We just need to understand the full extent of what your clients are looking for, and then open up this whole new world for their experience in France. Just a reminder, on our website, we do have the 8 dedicated Backroads unique cruising itineraries, and so those brochures are all available online. Just wanted to give you one last shot of the L'Impressioniste. This is what it's all about. You know, just relaxing there in your own little world and being far removed from the troubles that we've had over the last couple of years. And it's just the perfect way for your clients to reinvigorate and explore a different part of France that they would not normally get to see at their own pace. These are my details. So all of the packages that we're talking about with Backroads combined with Unique Cruises can only be booked through Unique Cruises. So send me an email, walter@uniquecruises.com.au, or there's my mobile number there. Feel free to call me anytime. And also on our website, we have a list of all the itineraries, and also a bit more information on the barges as well. So on behalf of Dylan and I, we'll take some questions in just a moment. But we would love to welcome your clients and take them up through the regions of France. And just a reminder for yourselves and for your colleagues that we do have the other trainings coming up. So next week we will be featuring Scotland, and then the following week Ireland, and then Italy to wrap up the series. We are recording these, so we will be able to send this through the link through to you once it's all completed. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing, and let's stop there and bring us back. Oops. Now, if anyone has any questions, please pop them into the chat, and we'll be able to answer them for you. It is a fantastic experience, as you've seen. I mean, we're all getting jealous about looking at all these photos and anxious and wanting to just get back up to Europe. And I can tell you from talking to just consumers, they are anxious and ready to go. They want to book. And I know that we in the industry are absolutely battle weary. And all, particularly for you guys who are the agents, and the bookings and the cancellations and so on. And what I'd like to say to you is that when we're looking forward, I'm not taking bookings until mid next year. So pretty much from June, July onwards, and all of 2023. And the feedback we're getting from all of our suppliers in Europe is that Europe for 2022 is starting to sell out. So if your clients are wanting to travel mid to the end of next year, you really do need to start locking them in now, because the Europeans are already booking for next year, as are the Americans, the Canadians, and so on. So as I said, I know everyone's battle weary and cautious, but jump on and at least speak to your clients. Just having a quick look at the questions here. Are the barge trips available as a standalone product? Yes, they are. All the barges can be booked independently of Backroads. Backroads can be booked independently of Unique Cruises, but we can have this amazing combined combination as well. Dylan's answered, are Unique Cruises marketed worldwide? Our products are available worldwide to the market, but Unique Cruises, for myself, is only for Australians and New Zealanders at this stage. I've been asked for the US, but I'm not doing that right now.
Well, we had a good question, Walter, from Merrill about just the food on board the vessels, and I guess I can talk to the backroads part as well. But do we cater for vegetarians and vegans on our trips as well? And from a backroads point of view, we definitely do. We get you actually to fill out a form prior to your departure from Australia, so we can pass off manifest to our tour leaders and to our venues, so we're all aware. But likewise, I assume Unique Cruises have the same. But Walter, I'll let you talk to that question yourself.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And the answer is yes. You can cater to pretty much any dietary requirements. And it just makes it a little bit easier too if your clients are actually charting the full barge, because then we can cater for pretty much anything that you can possibly think of. So nice and simple. Yeah. There's a question from Stephanie. Is there any time of the year when the water level is too high, too low for the barges to operate? The answer to that really is no. The barges operate from April through to October. Now, I'm saying no, but there are worldwide anomalies, as we all know. But it's extraordinarily rare. We're not on the big rivers. We're not on the Seine. We're not on the Saône or the Rhone. We are on these smaller canals. And the barges can operate in very, very low water levels. So typically, no. There's some thanks there. Does anybody else have any other questions? Are you all excited? That's what I'd like. I can see some of you on the screen here. So look, it is fantastic, and I'm just excited to be partnering up with Backroads because I have been a fan of the product for many years, and the fact that we have the small group synergy that really does make a big difference for your clients and being able to keep them safe, but more so that they can have a completely unique experience going through France and then onto our barges and creating their own holiday. It's something that is fairly rare, really, to be able to have all those options, but still be in a fairly controlled environment. So you all have my details. So if you do have any, we'll send out an email after this anyway. But if you do have any other questions, then please feel free to contact me. As we said earlier, these packages can only be booked through Unique Cruises. So if you contact Backroads, they won't be able to offer it on their end. I do all the packaging on my end. So just having a quick look for any last questions. Thank you for your feedback for those that have responded there as well. And unless anybody has anything else, we might be able to give you 10 minutes of your day back. Anything else that you'd like to say, Dylan, before we wrap up?
No, I mean, I guess firstly, and thank you very much for all of you taking your personal time again to join us. I think the exciting part, and reflecting through some of your notes and comments through this now, this is a backroads and backwaters kind of thing. And you've got an opportunity where I'm sure a lot of your customers have done the main street. They've ticked that box. They've done the Budapest to Amsterdam. They've done that grand tour of Europe. And they fell in love with regions. They want to know more. They want to experience more. And that's what excited me about Walter's proposition here. This is not your standard adventure. This is not your standard trip to France, or Ireland, or Scotland, or Italy as we go through these series. This is truly a unique way to do it. I think to do it in the small groups, I mean, our survey results show that 92% people are responding back with small traveling groups is their preferred, whether it be multi-generational or groups of friends. You know, we think that's a safer way to travel. Backroads for the bulk, 90% of our tours are singular country. So potentially the changing of borders, et cetera, with this COVID little epidemic thing or pandemic can be sort of avoided if France and Australia have some sort of synergies going forward. We need our own synergies first, obviously, to get the wheels in motion there. But again, guys, Walter's put a lot of effort into this. If you have any questions on the Backroads product itself, please feel free to contact us at tradeSales@backroadstouring.com.au. And for the actual package itself, all Unique Cruises by itself, obviously contact Walter with the details he provided earlier in the presentation.
And also too, just to finish up, I'll just make sure that you all do know that if you would like me to speak, like have a webinar with your clients, then happy to schedule that with you and your clients and talk them through, show them the images, because nothing sells it better than obviously seeing the nice pictures. and answering any of their questions directly rather than having to filter it through you to me and back again. We can just have one session, like I used to do with some of the other companies I used to work for, and going into people's houses and having a home presentation. Well, we can do that all from the comfort of our own homes, and particularly if they're looking at chartering, we can have the whole group come together in one Zoom presentation, and I can take them through, answer all their questions, and then make sure I hand it back to you guys to wrap it up with your own sell messages. So again, if you're interested in that, then just contact me, let me know. If you need social media tiles, anything like that, then let me know, and we'll be able to help you out. Other than that, we will say goodbye. I'm just going to stop recording now. Thank you all so very much. Au revoir. Thank you all so very much, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we talk about Scotland. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.